yaayee money transfer ak a gaaw te noppale yaayee money transfer mooy transfer money bi gën a wóor yaayee money transfer moom la ñëpp taamu. This show is proudly sponsored by yaayee money transfer. Ndow TV by D.Jobz.
Good afternoon, viewers, all the followers of Ndow TV. It's me, D.Jobz, artist manager, and music business consultant. I am glad to be here, but then first and foremost, Ndow TV is owned by a potential Gambian, and I am glad that Njai Sasune, one of our veterans in the industry, is the one behind this major online TV. Njai Sasune is somebody that I aspire, myself, D.Jobz. He's somebody who inspired me. When I was growing up, I looked up to the likes of Njai Sasune to become who I am today. So I definitely appreciate this special gesture to talk about music business.
Ndow TV by D.Jobz.
I am D.Jobz, and I hail from Brikama, West Coast region. I started my career as a music businessman in 2006 in Brikama. And these were times when Brikama was reggae dominated. After the time of Rebellion the Recaller, Abraham Kolonji, Seasonal Footy, the Inspired One, crew, the likes of Hurricane, yes, and then so many other, bigger names in Brikama at the time anyway. But then we came, in a contemporary version, our generation, so to speak, we came to inherit a very rough, industry in Brikama. Regionally, because this was a time when we were trying to push the likes of ST, when we started as a member of the Street Soldiers and so many other young rappers at the time in Brikama. It was a tough moment. We had limited radio stations at the time. Yes, Brikama radio station, FMB, was in Brikama. In fact, the first one to be established in Brikama. But we also had, other radio stations that were there. I remember very well Yiriwa FM, that is currently the Home Digital, owned by Pamodu. Growing up in an environment where they don't want to accommodate rappers, and a lot of people were telling me, look, you cannot sell what your artist is doing in this country at this time, because Brikama is not a hip-hop dominated town. So if you want to make your artist to be a dominion, you better take him to Senegal. I had several approaches regarding that, people not willing to accommodate what I promote, because what I promote at the time was hip-hop, not reggae, in Brikama. And then there were no major digital platforms that we are seeing today. The WhatsApp, the Facebook, the TikTok, which is the most trending, were not existing at the time. So it was based on organic reality in music business. That is, the indigenous or the domestic aspect of promotion. So we were pocketing the CDs of not only ST, but then other prominent stars from Brikama that were doing hip-hop. They choose to do hip-hop. They choose the hip-hop genre because they feel, they love it, they have passion for it. So devoid of the different genres, particularly reggae in West Coast region, we were able to register a greater breakthrough. Because can you imagine, those days when people were not ready to accommodate rappers in Brikama, we definitely made so that they accommodate them. We were going to every open show, every funeral show, in making sure that we promote our artists. So it wasn't easy at all.
Ndow TV by D.Jobz.
So basically, I cannot mention my career as a music businessman without Learning Society. Now, upon completion of my education in 2003, I also had to enroll to college, to study management. So I had my tertiary education in different fields. I read mass communication, management and economics, public administration, and business administration. So basically, the knowledge that we acquired, the degree that we acquired, from the management field also at some point had strengthened us to be the greater managers that we are today.
Ndow's TV by
You cannot be ST or D.Jobz overnight. You cannot be Jai Sasune overnight, because it takes a lot of efforts to be Jai Sasune, because Jai Sasune also had his several hurdles that he kicked. He had his several challenges, along the line. So every greater person that you see today began from somewhere. But then what we see today in this generation is young promoters, young managers, young artists try to make it all of a sudden. If you want to be D.Jobz overnight, it cannot be possible, because D.Jobz also started from somewhere. He started from those days when there were not digital platforms. It was cassettes, yeah? It was stereo tapes. It was CDs. So basically, coming to this digital era, yeah, would tell you how we had tried so much in making sure that we reach to this level. When nothing was there, when the incentives were not much, when the facilities were not there. So today we are witnessing, technological evolution. We are witnessing a greater transition in the art sector. In the music business today, we are seeing the commercialized, the online commercialized reality of music business. Back then there were nothing like iTunes, AudioMac, CD Baby, and all these platforms. But then still we made it, to this very level that we are today. So that is D.Jobz and all the struggles that I had previously to this very moment.
Ndow's TV by
moving fast forward, when I ended job terms with ST in 2017, I had some little break. In 2018, I got contracted by Jollof Arts, the biggest record label in the Gambia, and then I came in as their first ever operations manager, managing close to 10 artists. Moving fast forward, after 2 years my contract ended there. I came in to be Nyancho's manager. After his approach, we worked for 1 year, 8 months, and then we ended terms. But then when I came in as his manager, so many things happened in this country. Before my coming in, he was away for 2 years. He was dead, and then I had to come in to resurrect him. I did that because I believe in him. I know he's a talent, and I shouldn't see and then leave a talent to be, wasted. So I did that. We worked a lot, and then it so happened my biggest achievement also is the Police Soul album launch project, which I brought for Nyancho. In fact, my first bigger album project, was with him, the Police Soul. I conceptualized the term Police Soul, the album title, the song, I co-write it with him, and then with other people in the team. And then, my outro in the Police Soul video, everybody sees, what I did in the video, and I feel at some point, yes, that has definitely impacted the career of Nyancho in terms of his growth level, because we came with a rare project. We came with a project that intends to celebrate the most marginalized in our society, that is the police, the security men and women. So we represented and pronounced in capital merit the security fraternity in our mightiest capacity as music businessmen with foresight. Yes, I was able to do that with Nyancho.
Ndow's TV by
I have my capacity as a resurrector. I have my capacity as Jesus, somebody who would resurrect a dead and decomposed person. I did that. I have my capacity as somebody who would take an artist from nowhere to somewhere, somebody who is very much good at grooming. And I'm glad that the public over time can attest to that reality.
Ndow's TV by
After my job times with Nyancho, with all that I have done, in Apataki Entertainment, and then all the pronouncements that I also had, regarding what I did there, I also had to sign another contract with Miss Jobis, and this was January 2023, earlier in January 2023. So, that was also as a result of the involvement of Mario Carter, who actually was the first person that told me about Miss Jobis. And then I remember that fateful day when he called me to say, bro, I definitely want you to consider Miss Jobis. She's a star. And I feel, the female artists of the Gambia should also be considered. I told him, yes, I will take this up because gender mainstreaming is in all sectors. So if this is so, why not the Gambia's, art sector? So I said, no problem. I will get into this. So here and there, I also have some family members that called me because devoid of our separate capacity as individuals, she's also my, my niece. I mean, her mother is my big sister, so it's a family affair right here. So I had to redefine my mission at the time because I actually wanted to take a break to do my master's degree in public admin. But then I was like at some point, okay, I can still do it. I can still pursue my master's coupled with Miss Jobis management. So I came into her career in this fashion. I pushed it so harder, placed in the structures, and I brought in one major approach because nobody can manage an artist or group of artists without approaches. It is approaches that help managers to be able to operate in a strategic way. I mean, if you don't have an approach as a manager, then you don't have any sense of direction. So I had one major approach for Miss Jobis, and that is the Argentino-Roseros, approach. The Argentino-Roseros is an approach that is very wild. I said to someone, the Argentino-Soros would mean you viewing beyond what anybody would see. I mean, you seeing beyond any ordinary human being. I said, I have a plan to take Miss Jobis, beyond Gambia. That is what Argentinos from the word Argentinos. I mean, these are indigenous animals, they are bigger capacity, they are size, So I said, I think this approach will work for her. So I introduced the approach. It worked. In 6 months, the Norway package came up. But then actually, I have to convey my sincerest gratitude to Friki Jo Singate and then the Gambia Norway Association in Norway because they are the ones that already factored the issue of Miss Jobis, our Gambia ancestors gum. So basically, they brought in the deal. So what I did as a manager, coupled with my other managers, my fellow managers like Ali Wali and Pamudu, was to walk around the package, harness it so well so that it can be visible, and then we've seen the results. After all our good works by these artists. So that is important. And then a lot of people are like, yo, D.Jobz, I think you are not only a proactive manager, but then, you are that manager that also comes along with good luck. You are a good fortune manager. All kinds of words. I had all kinds of expressions, joyous expressions, expressions of excitement, people trying to categorize D.Jobz in a certain way, framing D.Jobz as the indomitable and the incomparable D.Jobz in terms of his management skills, his expertise, his knowledge, and then his creativity. But again, that's how it should be because every seasoned manager should know about the different management theories. Now, I read the theories of Henry Fayol, who used to be a prominent management scientist. The likes of Henry Grant, Max Weber, even Abraham Maslow, the greatest management theorists who specialize on motivation, And then, I said at some point, I told somebody that the 14 principles of Henry Fayol, I mastered them, and at some point, I don't even want to, read more and then dilate more on the theories of Frederick Winslow Taylor. Abraham Maslow brought forward the 14 principles of management, and then one of the principles is Esprit de Corps, be your brother's keeper. So Esprit de Corps had helped me a lot, and also the capacity of managers to be people that can predestinate. I mean, people with foresight. I think all these things are teachings in management that I have mastered, and that it helped me a lot in my job, in making sure that whatever that I am implementing is based on the theories that I've read. Yeah.
Ndow TV by
Yes, making an artist that have no Vigo aspects, I mean, in terms of creativity, in terms of writing it down, in terms of concept development, in terms of higher IQ, because there are individuals with low IQ, so basically they don't have that power force in terms of idealizing, in terms of bringing out concepts and then articulating around the concept. And how do you work with such artists? How do you make sure that that particular artist would be what you want him or her to become? First, if you're a manager that understands literature, and all its devices, it's very, very easy for you to conceptualize. But then there should be that openness also, for you to place in, proper concepts. When I came in Nyancho's career, I realized very well he's a star. He's very, very good, in singing, in rapping, in dancing, and then he's a great choreographer. And yes, he wouldn't take a pen and then put it down on paper, but then he can have greater ideas and then, process it, inside. But he was so much opportune and appreciative of what I was doing. What I was doing for him was helping him, to articulate very well, around concepts. I remember when I, conceptualized the police soul, because it was my idea, I also articulated around the idea for him to understand so that he will be able to articulate around the idea. So in working around the police soul, after conceptualizing, I had to also, jot down certain important points, certain military jargons, certain military terms, for him to understand. And that is why I also had to co-write the bridge, stand at ease, attention, I fully remember. And then the outro, yes, that I wrote, the podium aspect in the video. All these are my ideas, so I help the artist also to understand, that idea, to understand that, okay, we need a podium aspect. We need a podium aspect in the video. And then the write-up should be a very, very powerful write-up, because the podium aspect serves as a greater outro of the song. And then it was in the outro that finishes the song. It was Nyancho's whatever lines, I mean, last lines that finishes the song. So basically, my podium aspect, my outro, serve as a greater content, not only for the security fraternity, but then the entire Gambians, to be able to understand better that we need public policing. We need security men and women as our partners. We don't need to marginalize them in their mightiest capacity as the most important group in any community. Yes, so I did that. And then, with Esty, I mean, we worked together around his concepts. He would seek for my ideas, and I would give him. And then we had worked on, in so many times in different songs. And then we had put together ideas to build, so many songs at the time. So I have that potential, as a good poet, a good literature student, a very garrulous and loquacious individual, to be able to put on paper great concepts and also to develop those concepts, Yes, I would definitely help and always help my artists around those lines. And I remember the Police Soul album came along with some activities, right? I was the one that initiated those activities. I brought in those ideas. I mean, the Police Soul tournament, the Apataki Charter, and the Police Soul Caravan. So all these were my ideas. All these were my ideas, and then I work around the ideas very well in making sure that the public, sees something completely different.
Ndow's TV by Japan.
Yes, my inclusion in Bob Keita Foundation happened as a result of my rapport with Boubacar Bob Keita, a very good younger brother and friend who has done a lot by me and for me. Not only me, but then so many artists in this country, including the artists that I first worked with. And I feel there will be no condition that would debar me from working with Bob Keita Foundation. And when Bob Keita approached me to say that he had a greater idea, that is to initialize and structure a fundraising event for prisoners. I told him this is a concept or idea or an initiative that is very glorified. So I will definitely come to put in my input. So I came to join the foundation, and then it's never, I mean, I am never going to regret that. I think it's also one of my greater achievements, and I like the addendum on my accolade. I came in, and then we had a very, very good rapport around the fundraising event. And yes, the objective has been seen, because the objective was to amass a lot of income to plow back to our brothers and sisters in prisons. And we've seen the 16 prisoners that we have freed after the launch event. So BKF is definitely a foundation with foresight. Bob Keita didn't take all the monies and put it in his pocket. Rather, he plowed back to the society. Even though we did not have what we expected to have, but then Bob still was able to fulfill his promise to the masses. And that is exactly what we expected from him. So I have no regrets in being part of BKF. It's definitely a great organization, and we would continue to stage more fundraising events. Of recent, there's another activity in place, that is to distribute pens and learning materials to students of this country. I mean, pens, books, yeah, and so many other education modules, which is definitely great. I mean, that is something God-like and glorifying. Why not other people, but then Bob Keita and Bob Keita Foundation? So this is a major activity that BKF would be doing. Right now, they had also worked on the partnership reality, and I am so much impressed that other companies came in to support Bob Keita and Bob Keita Foundation in making sure that we distribute these learning materials to students that needs it. It's very, very obvious that we should also be considerable of a unique existence. I mean, the children in our midst, the students that are future leaders. How do we prepare there today for them to be utmostly responsible tomorrow? Now, for them to be able to handle certain positions tomorrow, they should be prepared today. Now, how do we prepare them would be my responsibility, your responsibility, and so many other people's responsibility in the country. We can all have right answers to this major question. How do we prepare our children today for them to be responsible future leaders? That is why Bob Keita and Bob Keita Foundation hire guesses at the existence of children today, the future leaders. And then at some point, BKF also noticed that we have children that are financially disadvantaged, and then their destitution can be sorted because they have their mightiest capacity as the most important group in our society today, because nobody would risk the future of a future leader. So it's very much impressive, and I would continue to echo similar sentiments and then be in noble partnership with BKF as far as their charitable reality is concerned.
Ndow's TV by Japan.
The other thing is, of recent, my contract with Gambia's Got Talent. I mean, this is my biggest achievement, and I would want this to be captured, and I hope it will not be edited. I know. I mean, Gambia's Got Talent Company Limited was founded and established by Modou Jallow, aka MJ, aka Le Lion de la Teranga. I call him man of wisdom, man of knowledge, somebody who is very sympathetic, somebody who is patriotic, somebody who is very considerable of the fact that we have poor people that we need to consider in this country. MJ was in Europe and he has gone to everywhere across the globe, but he had to come back to invest in his country, that is the Gambia. Modou Jallow approached me. In fact, I was the first person that was contacted by this major company, Gambia's Got Talent, affiliated to British Got Talent and America's Got Talent. That when he came after for me and told me, bro, I want you to come as the first ever communications director for this bigger company. I said, bro, no problem. And then he put in the package before me. Bro, in my 18 years or 19 years career as a music businessman and artist manager, my contract with Gambia's Got Talent is the biggest contract ever. Because I've seen the incentives, I've seen how they had placed even a mortgage, incentive for D.Jobz. I mean, my allowances, my incentives, my share is something huge. So I'm so much grateful to Modou Jallow, MJ, aka Le Lion de la Teranga, for involving me. This organization would be launched next month on the 23rd, August 23rd at OIC. And we are inviting everybody, all and sundry, to be at Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center, OIC, to grace this occasion. No gate takings, free entrance for everybody, free food for everybody. Come in August 23rd for us to officially launch the Gambia's Got Talent Company Limited. My regards and my sincerest gratitude has to be conveyed to MJ Le Lion de la Teranga for such an initiative. Another thing is, they are the main sponsors of Baddest Domain, my recently established Facebook Live, which comes on Thursdays from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. and on Sundays from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Powered by Virtuoso Multimedia, GM Plus, in the Gambia, Muhammad Ayodela Lasisi and his team, Mr. Jallow and Co., for supporting me. I mean, these are all important partnerships, and I like the fact that it came under the category in this interview, partnership. So this is important. The other thing is Amharit Restaurant, the tropical kitchen. That's where we are right now in Pipeline. Jibril Gando, aka G Gando, is a brother and a friend who has done a lot for Gambian artists, for managers and promoters and for our industry. We are here filming this live from Pipeline, in his business advice, a greater structure. Amharit is beautiful. I mean, this is where you can get proper African dish. If you want, you cannot be so Gambian without coming to Amharit. If you want to be so Gambian, if you want to be so African, if you want to be so original, if you want to be so natural, Amharit Restaurant in Pipeline is the utmost deal. So I want to urge all Gambians, particularly the artists, the promoters, the managers, the music businessmen, I mean, the content placers, all, sector players in the arts sector. D.Jobz is urging all of you to be coming here. In Amharit, this is what we own. This is our structure, is our business. You are highly welcome. There is no partnership that can be greater than this partnership, because what you own and what somebody else owns are totally different. What you own is your rightful own, and your rightful own is Amharit. So grab the ownership. Take it as sense of ownership. This is your device. This is your business facility. This is your structure. This is your major business. This is your restaurant. This is your indomitable business periphery. Come over to Pipeline. Amharit Restaurant is the utmost deal. I am very happy to be here.
Ndow TV by
I said people should better frame it. In every strong man that you see, there must be a strong lady behind. I said, no, ladies cannot be behind us. Women cannot be behind us. They only have to be beside us. Eve was not made from the back of Adam. Eve was made from the side of Adam. if this is true, the science of creation is telling you that women cannot be behind us, they have to be beside us. Because Eve was made from the side of Adam. So on that reality, I would say our darling wife, our utmost wife, our source of power, Ajimam is right here in the building, and I want to exclusively, make mention of this. I would like to thank him, exclusively. She is also our bigger face on GRTS. I mean, they are the ones that amplify beauty in a certain way on GRTS. So she is the wife of Jibril Gando, my wife, our wife, and I'm glad that we have her beside us, and that is why we have all these major thoughts, And then to my commander-in-chief, Lady Jobs, for being by me. She is my, I mean, I don't know how to put this. My greatest PA ever, my personal assistant, who is so much in love with me, who is in fact my number one fan, who wants to be with me anywhere I go, everywhere I am. Lady Jobs, thank you very much for being my number one confidant, my supporter, my accompaniment, my mentor, my guardian, my source of power. Yes, thank you very much. Ndow's TV, I mean, the CEO is Badu Ndow. I like Gambians with foresight. Badu is so much conscious about the fact that no matter how you stay in another man's land, you will one day come back to your own land. Badu understands very well that his land is the Gambia, and that is why he had to partner with conscious men like Njai Sasune to handle the business for him back at home. Shouts to you, Badu Ndow, for such a greater investment. D.Jobz is proud of you, Badu Ndow, and I want to urge you to continue. Be rest assured that Ndow's TV is the greatest platform online. Please subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube, Ndow's TV, for you to catch up with more fascinating and interesting programs online. Ndow's TV, they are not talking about anything unlearned. They are talking about everything online. And to be online is the most potential. So South to Badu Ndow for such a greater investment. Hello Gambia and the rest of the world. D.Jobz right here, baddest manager, endorsing Ndow's TV, championed by Njai Sasune. If you want to catch up with more fascinating stories, more nice events, more escapades, more functions, more concerts, everything about arts and culture and other sectors, catch up with Ndow's TV online. Subscribe.
Yaye Money Transfer ak a gaaw te noppale. Yaye Money Transfer mooy transfer money bi gën a wóor. Yaye Money Transfer moom la ñëpp taamu. This show is proudly sponsored by Yaye Money Transfer.